The morning sun of Proxima Centauri cast a reddish glow through the dome of New Sol colony. 8-year-old Daho pressed his small hands against the transparent barrier, watching the strange double shadows that formed on the colony's ground. His AI companion, a floating blue sphere named Helper, hovered nearby, recording everything as usual. "Look, Helper, the trader ships are coming." Daho pointed at the sky, where several vessels descended through the planet's orange atmosphere. The ships belonged to the Vrick, the tall, gray-skinned aliens who had first welcomed humans to this world 5 years ago. Helper's soft blue light pulsed as it spoke. "Correct, Daho. 3 Vrick trading vessels, Class 2 cargo capacity. Would you like to learn about their engine types?" Daho shook his head, his black hair falling over his eyes. "Not today. I want to see if they brought any new space toys." He grabbed his backpack and ran toward the main corridor, his footsteps echoing on the metal floor. In the colony science lab, Daho's parents were hard at work. His mother, Dr. Ji-sun, studied holographic displays of plant growth under alien soil conditions. His father, Dr. Han-gil, carefully examined bacterial samples from the planet's surface. They both looked up when Daho burst in. "Mom, Dad, can I go to the trading square? Please." Daho bounced on his toes, excitement clear in his dark eyes. Dr. Ji-sun smiled but shook her head. "Not alone, sweetheart. It's too crowded on trading days. Helper is with me." Daho pointed at the AI sphere. "And I'm a big boy now. I know all the safety rules." Dr. Han-gil exchanged looks with his wife. "Well, Helper does have direct links to colony security." He checked his wrist display. "Okay, but stay in the main square. Don't go near the docking areas." Daho hugged both his parents quickly. "Thank you. I'll be careful." He raced out, Helper floating behind him. The trading square buzzed with activity. Humans and Vrick moved between stalls filled with goods from both worlds. Daho loved watching the Vrick. They stood nearly 3 meters tall, their gray skin shimmering with patterns that changed color based on their emotions. Most showed friendly green and blue patterns today. "Look at that." Daho ran to a stall where a Vrick merchant displayed model spaceships. Each one was perfect in detail, from the tiniest antenna to the glow of their engine ports. The Vrick merchant's skin rippled with warm yellow patterns as he noticed Daho's interest. "Young human," the merchant said in careful English, "you like ships." "I love them. I'm going to be a space explorer when I grow up." Daho beamed. "Helper, record the ships. I want to show Mom and Dad." As Helper recorded, Daho noticed something strange. Several Vrick near the docking area had angry red patterns flowing across their skin. They spoke in harsh whispers, glancing at the human colonists with what looked like disgust. Helper noticed too. "Daho, I detect elevated stress levels in those Vrick. Perhaps we should return to the lab." "Just a few more minutes," Daho pleaded, still fascinated by the model ships. "Look at this one. It's just like the colony ships in the history videos." Above them, more ships entered the atmosphere, their engines rumbling through the dome. But these weren't trading vessels. Their shapes were sharper, more aggressive. Helper's blue light turned a warning yellow. "Daho, we must return now. Security protocols are being activated." The boy finally looked up, seeing the worry in the faces of both humans and friendly Vrick around him. The angry group near the docks had grown larger, their skin now pulsing with deep crimson patterns. "Okay, Helper," Daho whispered, suddenly feeling very small. "Let's go home." They turned to leave, not knowing that this ordinary trading day would soon change the relationship between humans and aliens forever. The colony's meeting hall was packed with both humans and Vrick. Dr. Ji-sun and Dr. Han-gil sat at the front table, their research papers spread before them. Daho sat quietly in the corner, drawing spaceships in his notebook, while Helper floated nearby, its blue light steady and calm. Our findings show that humans and Vrick can share farming zones, Dr. G. Sun explained, pointing to charts on the big screen. The plants from Earth actually help Vrick crops grow better. Some Vrick leaders showed happy blue patterns on their skin, but others remained gray, unmoved. The head Vrick, Kolar, raised his long fingers for silence. "This is good research," Kolar said slowly. "But some of my people worry. More humans come every month. How many more will Earth send?" Dr. Hangill stepped forward. "We understand your concerns. That's why we propose shared control of all new farming areas. Equal work, equal food, equal." A loud crash cut him off. The doors burst open, and a group of Vrick stormed in. Their skin glowed angry red, and they carried protest signs in both Vrick and English. "Humans go home, read one. Earth colonists is equals invaders," said another. "Helper, take Daho to the safe room," Dr. G. Sun ordered quickly. The AI moved toward Daho, but the boy was already standing, eyes wide with fear. The protest leader, a tall Vrick named Maktor, pointed at the human scientists. "You trick us. Your plants poison our soil. Your people steal our world." "That's not true." Dr. Hangill tried to speak calmly. "The research shows." "Your research lies." Maktor's skin turned almost black with rage. More protesters pushed into the room, shoving past the guards. Kolar raised his voice. "Stop this. We are peaceful people." But the protesters wouldn't listen. They started throwing things. First papers, then chairs. The colony security system blared warnings. Human and Vrick guards rushed to protect the scientists. In the chaos, no one noticed Daho had frozen in fear, unable to move. Helper's warnings couldn't reach him through the noise. The AI's sensors detected danger too late. A heavy metal pole, thrown in anger, flew through the air. Helper rushed to block it, but its small form wasn't enough. The pole struck Daho in the chest. The boy fell without a sound. "Dae-ho!" Dr. G. Sun's scream cut through the riot like a knife. The room went silent. Helper, still recording everything, projected a medical scan. Its usual blue light turned red with urgent warnings. Dr. Hangill reached his son first, cradling him gently. The boy's last words were soft. "Dad, I didn't get to show you the spaceships." Helper's recording of what happened next went to every human colony and back to Earth. It showed Dr. G. Sun holding her son, her tears falling on his still face. It showed Dr. Hangill's hands shaking as he tried and failed to find a pulse. It showed the Vrick protesters, their skin now pale with horror at what they'd done. Kolar bowed his head, skin dark with shame. This was not supposed to happen. But it had happened. Helper's recording spread across human space at light speed. Within hours, every human settlement knew about the boy who died during a peace meeting. The AI's final footage showed Dr. G. Sun looking up, her eyes hard as steel. "Earth will hear about this," she said, her voice cold and clear. "Earth will come." In orbit, the first military ships were already changing course, their engines burning bright against the orange sky of Proxima. The peaceful age of human-Vrick relations had ended with the throw of a pole, and a new age was about to begin. The Earth Alliance Command Center in Seoul buzzed with activity. On the main screen, Helper's recording of Daho's death played for the 100th time. Fleet Admiral Subin stood with her hands behind her back, watching the footage without blinking. "Turn it off," she finally ordered. The screen went dark. "Where are the boy's parents now?" "Dr. G. Sun and Dr. Hangill are on their way here," an officer reported. "They refused to stay at the colony." Admiral Subin nodded. She walked to the center of the room where a large hologram showed Earth's hidden fleet. For years, humans had pretended to have only science and trade ships. Now, the truth would come out. "Launch the Ghost Fleet," she commanded. "All ships, no more hiding." Across Earth's oceans, massive doors opened in the water. Giant warships rose from secret underwater bases, their black hulls shining in the sunlight. In space stations around the moon, hundreds of fighters powered up their engines. Captain Yoon-hee stood on the bridge of the largest ship, the EAS Vengeance. She watched her crew prepare for their first real battle. They had trained for years, hoping they would never be needed. Now, a child's death had changed everything. Captain, her AI system reported, Dr. Ji-sun requests permission to come aboard. Yoon-hee straightened her uniform. Granted. Dr. Ji-sun looked different from the woman in Helper's video. Her eyes were red from crying, but her face showed only determination. She carried a data chip in her hand. "This contains my research," she said, giving the chip to Yoon-hee. "I've modified our farming technology. Now it can track Vrick movement patterns. It will help you find the ones responsible." "Dr. Ji-sun," Yoon-hee said softly, "we'll need more than that. We need your mind. Join my crew as Chief Science Officer." "Yes," Ji-sun replied without hesitation. "My husband is working with intelligence now. We both want justice." In the ship's main hall, Admiral Subin addressed the fleet crews through video screens. Behind her stood a large photo of Daho, smiling at his last birthday party. "Today, we show the galaxy who we really are," she said. "Earth has been patient. Earth has been kind. But we will not stand by while our children die." The crews stood at attention as she continued. "This is Protocol Guardian, named for Daho. We will find every Vrick who planned this attack. We will protect every human colony. And we will show them that hurting our children was their biggest mistake." Helper, now connected to the Vengeance's systems, projected new data. "Vrick ships are gathering at Proxima. They seem unsure how to respond to our fleet's appearance." "They're about to find out," Captain Yoon-hee said. She turned to her crew. "Battle stations." The Ghost Fleet moved into formation. 500 warships, each bigger than anything humans had shown before. 2,000 fighters. And one small blue AI sphere, still carrying the last recording of a boy who just wanted to look at toy spaceships. Admiral Subin gave the final order. "All ships, prepare for faster-than-light jump. Our destination is Proxima B. Today, we show the galaxy that humanity's peaceful face was a choice, and they just made us choose differently." The ship's engines glowed bright blue. In her new science station, Dr. Ji-sun touched her son's picture on her screen. "Wait for us, Daho," she whispered. "Justice is coming." With a flash of light, Earth's armada vanished into faster-than-light travel. The greatest fleet humanity had ever built was on its way to Proxima, carrying with it the combined weight of a species' grief and rage. The Earth fleet appeared above Proxima in a burst of blue light. Commander Do-hyun watched from the bridge of his Special Forces ship as the planet grew larger on the screen. Helper floated beside him, its blue light dimmed to match the ship's battle mode. "Scan complete," Helper announced. "Detecting large groups of Vrick leaving the colony. They seem afraid." "They should be," Do-hyun said quietly. He turned to his team of 20 Special Forces soldiers. "Remember your training. We're not here for revenge. We're here for justice." The EA's Vengeance took position above New Seoul Colony. Captain Yoon-hee's voice came through all channels. "All Vrick ships will land immediately. Any vessel trying to leave the system will be stopped." Down on the planet, Dr. Ji-sun worked in her new mobile lab. Her husband, Dr. Han-gil, studied information from colony security systems. They had turned their science skills to hunting those responsible for their son's death. "I found something," Han-gil said, pointing to his screen. "The protest group. They received messages from 3 other star systems before the attack." Ji-sun looked at the data. This wasn't just angry colonists. Someone planned this. Commander Do-hyun's team landed outside the colony in black stealth suits. Helper led them to the building where the protest leaders had met. Inside, they found empty rooms and broken computers. "They ran," a soldier said, checking the rooms. "But they left in a hurry." Helper scanned a broken datapad. Commander, I found deleted messages. They mentioned something called the Purification. More human colonies were targeted. Do-hyun touched his comlink. Admiral Subin, we have evidence of a larger plot. The attack on Daeho wasn't random. They planned to attack other colonies too. In orbit, Admiral Subin received the news grimly. She ordered the fleet to spread out, sending ships to protect every human settlement in nearby systems. Back in the colony, Do-hyun's team tracked the escaping Vrick through underground tunnels. Helper sensors led them to a hidden bunker. Inside, they found weapons and plans, detailed plans for attacking human colonies. Look at this, a soldier called out. She held up a map showing 5 human colonies marked with red X's. New Seoul Colony was just the first target. Helper suddenly flashed red. Alert. Detecting energy signatures. Hidden ships are powering up beneath the surface. Do-hyun's team rushed out as the ground shook. 3 Vrick ships burst from underground, throwing dirt and rocks into the air. They shot toward space, engines glowing hot. Captain Yoon-hee, Do-hyun called, 3 ships coming your way. Don't let them escape. They have proof we need. The Vengeance moved with surprising speed for such a large ship. Its weapons locked onto the fleeing Vrick vessels. Captain Yoon-hee's voice was cold. Disable their engines only. We need them alive. Dr. Ji-sun watched from her lab as the Vengeance's energy beams struck the Vrick ships with perfect accuracy. The ships spun, their engines dead, as Earth fighters moved in to capture them. Helper, she called, scan those ships. I want to know everyone on board. The AI scan showed 15 Vrick, including Maktor, the protest leader. But it also showed something else. Data links to powerful Vrick families on their homeworld. This goes higher than we thought, Dr. Hangil said, reading the scan results. Someone important wanted to stop humans from expanding. They used our son's death to start a war. Commander Do-hyun looked at the captured ships and the evidence his team had found. Then let's make sure they fail, he said. For Daeho, Dr. Hangil stared at his computer screen in the Vengeance's intelligence room. His hand shook as he read the decoded messages from the captured Vrick ships. Helper projected the translations in the air. This can't be right, he whispered. Captain Yoon-hee, Admiral Subin, you need to see this now. The ship's leaders gathered quickly. Dr. Ji-sun joined them, her face tired from days of working in the lab. Commander Do-hyun stood by the door, his special forces team on alert. The Vrick leadership planned to kill all human colonists, Hangil said. His voice was rough with anger. Not just here. Everywhere. They have a name for it. Operation Clean Sky. Admiral Subin's face turned hard. Show me everything. Helper displayed the full evidence. Messages between Vrick leaders showed their real thoughts about humans. They feared Earth's growing power. They worried about human technology getting better too quickly. The attack that killed Daeho was meant to scare humans away from space. There's more, Dr. Ji-sun added. She pulled up her own research data. The Vrick have an old story, a prophecy. It says star travelers with short lives will spread across space and change everything. They think it means humans. Captain Yoon-hee looked troubled. So they killed a child because of an old story. Not all Vrick agreed, Commander Do-hyun said. He pointed to more messages. Look, many Vrick leaders fought against this plan. They wanted peace with humans. In the colony below, those peaceful Vrick were proving Do-hyun right. A group of Vrick elders asked to meet with Earth's leaders. Their leader, Kolar, stood before Admiral Subin, with his skin showing patterns of deep blue, the color of truth. We found these, Kolar said, offering data crystals, proof that our High Council was wrong. Many of us want peace with humans. We are not all killers of children. Helper scanned the crystals. They showed secret meetings where Vrick leaders argued against Operation Clean Sky. Some had even tried to warn human colonies, but their messages were blocked. Dr. Ji-sun watched the recordings in silence. Finally, she spoke. We could destroy them all now. Our fleet is stronger. We could end the Vrick threat forever. She touched her son's picture on her screen. But Daho, he loved learning about other species. He wouldn't want that. Admiral Subin faced a hard choice. Earth's fleet could win a war against the Vrick. But at what cost? How many more children, human and Vrick, would die? Captain, she called to Yumi, send a message to Earth. Tell them everything we found. And add this, we recommend accepting Kolar's offer of peace. The peaceful Vrick's skin rippled with hope. But Commander Do-hyun raised a warning. The corrupt leaders who planned this, they must face justice. They will, Admiral Subin promised. Earth's fleet stays until every planner of Operation Clean Sky faces trial, under both human and Vrick law. In orbit, more Vrick ships appeared, but these carried green lights, the color of peace. Their crews were Vrick who chose to stand with humans against their own corrupt leaders. Dr. Han-gil watched them arrive and thought of his son. Daho would have loved seeing this, he said softly. Different species choosing to work together. Then we make sure his death leads to lasting peace, Dr. Ji-sun replied. She turned to help her. Record everything. The galaxy should know that humans can choose justice over revenge. The AI's light pulsed steady and strong, capturing the moment when the path of two species began to change. Red alert sirens wailed through the EA's vengeance. Captain Yoon-hee gripped her command chair as the tactical screen lit up with dozens of new contacts. Multiple hostile Vrick warships dropping out of faster-than-light travel, Helper reported. Its blue light flickered with rapid calculations. They are led by the corrupt High Council members we identified. Admiral Subin's voice came through clear. All ships, battle formations. Protect the colony and our Vrick allies. Remember your training. The space around Proxima erupted into chaos. The corrupt Vrick leaders had gathered their loyal forces for one desperate attack. Their ships, painted with angry red symbols, charged toward the human fleet. Dr. Ji-sun worked frantically in her lab aboard the Vengeance. The weapon is ready, she called through the comm. It will disable their ships without killing the crews. But someone needs to get close to their command ship to use it. I'll do it, said Sergeant Minho. He was Commander Do-hyun's most experienced pilot. My small ship can get through their lines. Down in the colony, Dr. Han-gil and Kolar coordinated the evacuation of civilians, both human and peaceful Vrick. Helper sensors detected the first shots being fired in orbit. Enemy ships are targeting civilian evacuation routes, the AI warned. Captain Yoon-hee's voice was steel. Not on our watch. All fighters, protect those evacuation ships. Show them why Earth kept its military power hidden. The battle split the orange sky of Proxima B. Earth's black warships moved with precision, their weapons striking with surgical accuracy. The corrupt Vrick ships fought wildly, desperate to complete their failed genocide plan. Sergeant Minho's small ship darted between the larger vessels, carrying Dr. Ji-sun's weapon. He dodged energy beams and debris, getting closer to the Vrick command ship. Almost there, he reported. Just need to get within 100 kilometers to activate the weapon. Suddenly, 3 enemy fighters spotted him. They closed in, weapons firing. Minho's ship took heavy damage. Weapon range in 30 seconds, he said calmly. But my engines are failing. I won't be able to pull away in time. Dr. Ji-sun realized what this meant. No, there must be another way. This is my choice, Minho replied. One life to save thousands. For Daho. His damaged ship burst forward in a final thrust. The Vrick fighters couldn't react in time. Minho reached the perfect range and activated the weapon. A wave of blue energy pulsed out from his ship. Every corrupt Vrick vessel in its path went dark, their systems completely disabled. The command ship, carrying the leaders who had planned Operation Clean Sky, drifted powerless in space. But Minho's ship, too close to the pulse, lost all power. It tumbled toward Proxima's atmosphere, burning as it fell. Sergeant Minho's sacrifice will be remembered. Admiral Subin announced to the fleet, "Now collect those disabled ships. Every planner of this genocide will face justice." Commander Du Hyun's Special Forces teams boarded the powerless Frick vessels. They found the corrupt leaders hiding in their command rooms, their skin pale with fear. In the colony below, Dr. Handgill watched the last evacuation ships reach safety. Kolar stood beside him, his skin showing patterns of both sorrow and hope. "Your people chose justice over revenge," Kolar said quietly, "even after what some of us did to your son." "Why?" Dr. Handgill looked at the sky where Minho's ship had fallen. "Because that's what humans can be when we choose to. And that's what Daho would have wanted." Helper recorded the final moments of the battle as Earth's fleet secured victory, not through destruction, but through protecting the innocent and capturing the guilty. 1 month after the battle, New Seoul Colony looked different. The dome now showed both Earth and Frick symbols. Below it, a new building rose from the trading square, the Daho Peace Memorial. Dr. Ji-sun and Dr. Handgill stood before the memorial's entrance. Helper floated beside them, its blue light steady and bright. Inside, a hologram showed their son's smiling face, surrounded by the toy spaceships he loved so much. "Today," Admiral Subin announced to the gathered crowd of humans and Frick, "we honor both a loss and a beginning." The corrupt Frick leaders stood trial in a joint human-Frick court. Their punishment was severe: lifetime exile to a remote mining colony, where they would work to repair the damage they had caused. Kolar, now leading the new Frick Council, made sure their wealth went to helping both species rebuild. "The Daho Protocol is now active in all colonies," Captain Yoon Hee reported from her position near the memorial. She gestured to the new defense systems visible in orbit. "No child, human or Frick, will ever be unprotected again." Dr. Ji-sun stepped forward to explain the protocol she and her husband had created. "Every colony now has advanced sensors and shields. But more importantly, they have joint human-Frick security teams. We protect each other now." Commander Du Hyun's Special Forces had a new mission too. They trained mixed teams of human and Frick peacekeepers, teaching them to work together. Helper's programming was copied to new AI units that would help these teams keep the peace. Sergeant Minho's sacrifice changed everything, Du Hyun said, standing near a wall bearing the names of those lost. He showed both species that bravery knows no borders. The Earth fleet remained visible now, no longer hidden, but their ships carried new markings, symbols of both Earth and Frick, showing their role as joint protectors of peace. The Ghost Fleet became the Guardian Fleet, dedicated to defending all innocent lives. In the trading square, now rebuilt and busy again, human and Frick children played together. They traded toy spaceships and shared stories, watched over by helper units glowing peaceful blue. Dr. Handgill watched them play. "This was what Daho would have wanted," he said softly. "Not revenge, not war, just people learning to live together." Kolar approached them, his skin showing patterns of deep respect. "The old prophecy was wrong," he said. "Humans didn't come to change everything through power. They changed us by choosing peace when they could have chosen war." Dr. Ji-sun touched her son's hologram gently. "Earth is different now, too. We learned we can be strong without being cruel. We can defend without destroying." Admiral Subin made the final announcement of the day. "The joint fleet patrols begin today. Human and Frick ships will guard our worlds together. Let the galaxy see what we can build from loss, a peace stronger than hate." As the sun set on Proxima, casting orange light through the colony dome, Helper played one last recording. It showed Daho on his last day, smiling at the toy spaceships. "I'm going to explore space someday," his voice said clearly. "And I'm going to make friends everywhere I go." Dr. Ji-sun and Dr. Handgill held each other as they watched. Their son's dream had come true, though not in the way anyone expected. Because of him, two species learned to be friends among the stars, and in orbit above, human and Vrick ships patrolled together, their crews united in a single promise: to protect the peace that a child's death had, finally, brought to life.